Today, we are doing a deep dive into the spoilers for the upcoming 10 episodes, spanning from January 26th all the way through February 6th. And folks, this isn't just a recap. We need to dissect the psychology here. We need to talk about why Steve Johnson is making rookie mistakes, why Chanel is playing with fire, and the absolute dark cloud hanging over the DiMera mansion. First up, let's talk about Steve Johnson, Stephanie, and this absolute nightmare of a stalker storyline. Now, look, we all love Steve. Patch is a legend. He's an ISA icon. He has taken down international cartels, he's fought Stefano more times than I can count, and he has survived things that would kill a normal man. But, can we be honest for a second? Just between us, Steve is losing his touch. I said it. I know, don't come for me in the comments yet, hear me out. The spoilers for the upcoming 10 episodes reveal that Steve has hatched a master plan to catch the person stalking Stephanie. He brings Jada Hunter and Alex Kyriakis into the fold. On paper, this looks like a solid team. You have the veteran spy, the police detective, and, well, you have Alex, who is mostly there for muscle and hair gel, but we love him anyway. But here is the tragic irony that is going to drive us all crazy over the next 2 weeks. Steve does not realize that the very room they are planning in is compromised. Remember that picture frame Alex and Stephanie received? The one that looked a little too gift-trapped to be innocent? It's bugged. It has a listening device. You have Steve Johnson laying out a trap, detailing every step of how they are going to catch this creep, and the creep is literally listening to the livestream of the meeting. Why is this happening? I think Steve is operating on arrogance right now. He is so used to being the hunter that he has forgotten what it feels like to be the prey in his own home. He assumes his domestic space is safe. This is a classic horror movie trope, right? The danger isn't out there, it's inside the house. My theory: I have a theory about who is on the other end of that bug. The easy answer is Clyde, right? It's always Clyde. But I feel like that's too simple for a 10-episode arc. What if it's someone closer? What if this stalker has a connection to everyday Bobby? The show has been hinting at the unraveling of Stephanie's past, and I think this bugged frame is going to lead to a reveal that shatters the Johnson family. And honestly, when the truth comes out that Steve gave away the plan, the guilt is going to eat him alive. He's supposed to protect his sweetness and his daughter, and he basically handed the enemy the playbook. Now, let's pivot to a storyline that honestly makes my stomach turn in a good, dramatic soap way, but also in a Chanel "what are you doing?" way. We know Chanel Dupree has a heart of gold. She loves hard. But sometimes, that heart overrides her brain. The spoilers for the upcoming 10 episodes tell us that Chanel decides to visit Sophia Choi at Bayview. Now, let's look at the context. Chanel is currently navigating a high-risk pregnancy. Her stress levels need to be at zero. And instead of doing yoga or eating pickles and ice cream, she decides to walk into a mental health facility to confront a woman who is demonstrably unstable and obsessed with her child. I know some of you in the comments are going to say, Chanel is just trying to make peace. She's trying to be a mother figure. I get that. I respect the empathy. But I'm going to take the controversial stance here. This is a massive mistake. It is reckless. When Chanel walks into that room, she isn't seeing Sophia the person. She's seeing a problem she thinks she can fix with a nice conversation. But Sophia isn't looking for a conversation. She's looking for a target. The spoilers say Chanel makes a mistake and engages Sophia. Well, surprise, surprise. Let's get into Sophia's head. She is trapped. She feels her child, Trey DiMera, has been stolen from her. In her mind, she is the victim of a conspiracy. When she sees Chanel glowing, pregnant, free, and connected to the family raising her, sonnet is going to trigger a narcissistic rage. It's envy mixed with desperation. The spoilers hint that Sophia is planning another escape and considering a heinous crime. Connect the dots with me, guys. Sophia is angry. She wants her son, Trey. Chanel is the catalyst. I am predicting a full-blown kidnapping arc. I think Sophia breaks out of Bayview, not just to run, but to take Trey from his adoptive parents. And because Chanel provoked her, Chanel might end up in the crossfire. Imagine a scenario where pregnant Chanel is held hostage by Sophia. It fits the high-stakes drama DOOL loves during February sweeps. This visit isn't closure, it's the match that lights the fuse. Okay, take a deep breath. We need to talk about the patriarch, the Phoenix, Stefano DiMera. It feels like we have been planning this funeral for an eternity, doesn't it? But the spoilers for the upcoming 10 episodes confirm that the plans are finally moving forward. We are getting the skeletal remains identified. We are getting the crypt opened. This is huge, historic DOOL stuff. E.J. DiMera is front and center here. He makes a vow that the DiMera family will not fall, and that they will make Stefano proud. Let's analyze E.J. for a minute. Dan Furigal is doing an amazing job, but look at the pressure on this character. E.J. has always had daddy issues on a Shakespearean level. He craves Stefano's approval even from beyond the grave. This funeral isn't just about saying goodbye, it's E.J.'s coronation. He is trying to convince himself, as much as everyone else, that he is the new Phoenix. But here is my hot take: E.J. is not Stefano. And he shouldn't try to be. Every time E.J. tries to pull a Stefano move, it backfires because E.J. has a conscientia small one, buried deep down. But it's there. Stefano was pure, unadulterated power. E.J. is power mixed with insecurity. The DiMera family will never fall. That is a bold claim when half the family is in jail, crazy, or dead. I think this funeral is going to be the setting for a major return or a major shock. You don't bury Stefano DiMera without a twist. Could we see a secret will? Could we see a long-lost sibling emerge from the shadows of the crypt? Or, and this is my favorite theory, will the remains be questioned again? In Salem, death is a suggestion, not a rule. But assuming this is really the end for Stefano's physical form, this funeral serves as a reset button for the family. It forces Chad, E.J., Kristen, and Stefan to decide, are we a family, or are we a pack of wolves? Moving on to the most controversial child in Salem, Rachel Black. The spoilers indicate that Kristen and Belle are sitting down to discuss Rachel's future. Rachel is determined to take the rap for shooting E.J. She wants to own it. Belle and Kristen are trying to guide her to avoid the juvenile justice system, pushing for a mental health defense. The nature versus nurture argument. We have to talk about this. Is Rachel Black inherently evil because she is a DiMera Black mix? Or is she a product of her environment? I firmly believe it is the latter. Look who raised her. She has watched Kristen manipulate, stab, and scheme her entire life. Rachel shooting E.J. wasn't a random act of violence, it was a learned behavior. She solves problems the way her mother solves problems, with force. I find it fascinating that Belle is involved. Belle is the sane one. The moral compass. Having her try to save Rachel is a beautiful contrast to Kristen. Kristen wants to save Rachel to keep her close. Belle wants to save Rachel to actually help her. The spoilers say the episodes from February 2nd to February 6th will decide her fate. I don't think she's going to juvie. That's too boring. I think she ends up mandated to a facility, maybe even force therapy away from Kristen. And that separation? That is going to break Kristen DiMera in a way we haven't seen before. A desperate Kristen is a dangerous Kristen. Finally, we have to talk about the comedy and the chaos that is Gwen and Vivian versus Dimitri. The spoilers for the upcoming 10 episodes suggest that Dimitri is facing a setback because of an alliance between Gwen and Vivian. Vivian is apparently using her forgery skills to help Gwen seize the von Leuschner fortune. Can we just appreciate this pairing? Gwen Richek and Vivian Alamain. This is the team-up I didn't know I needed. Vivian is the OG schemer. She has buried people alive. Gwen is the scrappy survivor who will do anything for a buck. Dimitri doesn't stand a chance. He thinks he's smart, but he's playing checkers while Vivian is playing for D-chess. Vivian doesn't do anything for free. If she helps Gwen get that money, she is going to want a massive cut. I predict a double cross. Gwen thinks she is using Vivian, but you don't use Vivian Alamain. Vivian will likely secure the fortune and then leave Gwen high and dry. It's going to be a delicious disaster, and I cannot wait to watch Dimitri realize he's been outplayed by the two meanest women in town. So, let's recap what we are looking at for these spoilers for the upcoming 10 episodes. Steve is accidentally broadcasting his plans to the Stalker. Chanel is poking the bear at Bayview, risking her pregnancy. Rachel is facing the legal system, with Belle trying to save her soul. Stefano's funeral is setting the stage for a new DiMera era. Gwen and Vivian are about to bankrupt Dimitri. It is going to be a roller coaster, folks. The writing seems to be ramping up the tension specifically around the mental states of the characters Sophia's mania, Rachel's violence, Steve's paranoia. It's psychological warfare in Salem. I want to hear from you in the comments. Question of the day. Do you think Chanel is foolish for visiting Sophia, or is she brave? And who do you think is listening on the other end of Steve's bugged frame? Let me know your theories. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed the breakdown, subscribe so you don't miss our next spoiler session, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, keep your eyes on the hourglass because these days are slipping away fast.